Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday. What's going on, Internet? Matthew Kay here with
Joshua Hanlon.
And we are getting ready to build the Lego architecture set Burj Khalifa, set 21031, I believe. And this is a nice little build, it looks like. We're estimating our build time to be around an hour. We will see if that ends up being true. In any case, this is the updated Burj Khalifa Lego architecture set, much bigger than the earlier version, which was a smaller model. This one definitely looks way more accurate. I think I am very excited to get started. Any kind of thoughts before we get started here, Josh?
Yeah, just I think we're both big fans of the architecture line, so it's always fun to do another architecture build, and this is certainly an impressive building. I believe this is the tallest building in the world currently. So it's definitely an impressive building to work on. So we'll see what we think of the build as we dig in here.
All right.
So break out the knives. I've got my more construction site knife. I think Matthew goes the butter knife route more.
This is a serrated butter knife, more like a really lame steak knife, I guess you could call it. I've kept this around my Lego area for many years, and here we go. Look at that. It says, enjoy your building experience. And then it says, it looks like it says the same thing. I guess that would be Arabic, maybe.
Yes, I noticed it says on the flap here, booklet in English and Arabic included. So this building is in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. So that is why it is in Arabic as well.
Interesting. I wonder if they had to include the Arabic booklet to get in the gift shop at the top of the Burj. They probably did, right?
That could be why, yeah.
They said, sorry, you can't have it in there unless it's in Arabic. Makes sense, makes sense.
So just two stacks of parts here. That's interesting, not a whole lot. I think it has 333 pieces, I believe.
What?
I think it has 333 pieces, so...
Did it say that?
I looked it up before we started here, actually, yeah, because this version we have here actually is, I think, the European version, which was actually sent to us by Lego, so we want to thank them for that, for giving us this copy to do a live build of, and to do a review for you guys.
Thank you to Lego for this evening's entertainment.
That's right. And as usual with most of the architecture sets, you get this a really nice instruction booklet that just feels really nice to hold, flip through, really great looking instructions. So that's always a plus with these architecture sets, and it kind of starts out, you've got photos of the real building, that type of thing.
Doesn't it feel like a crime to open it almost? And,
it does, yeah.
And it smells good too?
It smells like pass your smell test?
It smells great. That's amazing. Awesome.
It does include a piece separator, piece remover. So for all of you out there without one of those, you can finally get one in the set.
One more, just what I wanted.
Now I am noticing, I did mention that the instruction booklet is really nice to look at. I am noticing an issue right off the bat. It doesn't exactly stay flat here, so I'm trying to keep it, and that's what happened.
I almost want to read it like a novel.
Right.
Just open, cracked in the corner. Just flipping through it casually. No big deal. I'm not sure if there's any backstory online. Why did this set? Why did they do another one? What's the whole thought behind this?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. It must have just been obviously it's kind of a fairly famous building, so they figured there's a market out there to update it a bit.
Well, I wholly approve of this update, I will say. What's the next one in line, do you think, Josh, to be updated? What's the most updatable?
Let's see. Have they done the Eiffel Tower? I feel like they could do several versions of that. I think they have done at least one version of that, right?
Yeah, they have done one version. They did the big version a while back, and then they have the smaller.
Right.
Well, maybe they could do like a $200 price point Eiffel Tower set.
That could be popular. I think that was. I know the big version of that was pretty popular.
It's a redo. The Sears Tower, right? Isn't that the one where it's like 15 pieces?
Right. Yeah. That's so. Yeah. Some of the first line, like what is like Seattle Space Needle and Sears Tower, that type of stuff, that was fairly simple builds. They could probably update and make significantly better.
Oh, yeah. And now, Joshua, you will be meeting the originator of the LEGO architecture line later this week, correct?
That's right, yeah. So Thursday morning, actually, this is a good announcement if anyone's in the area, in the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, so a fairly famous museum. I've been there several times growing up here in Indiana. Heading over to Chicago isn't too far for me. It's a great museum to take your kids to or even adults. Lots of really cool stuff there. I think one of the most famous things they have is a German U-boat from World War II. It's like a full life-size U-boat that's pretty awesome there.
Sunk in, right?
What's that?
Like sunk in below. It's like in its own little thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Like its own kind of giant display area, so that's really neat. But anyway, so this Thursday they're opening a new Lego exhibit of over a dozen giant models built by Adam Reed Tucker, who was the originator of the Lego architecture line. So you might, his name might sound familiar to you if you're a big fan of the architecture series. So that should be really awesome. I'm looking forward to that. We'll go out there and hopefully have a bunch of videos for you guys to watch. Based on those, hopefully we'll get to talk with Adam and he'll explain some of the models. I know one of them is like a 60-foot long Golden Gate Bridge build, so you can expect things in that vein of the kind of that huge of builds.
And unfortunately, we still aren't flying people halfway across the country for 2-hour press release events or press events. So I will not be in attendance, much to my deep, deep depression. But, you know, oh well.
Yes, unfortunately, we haven't quite reached that level yet. But, you know, hopefully you can see the videos as well that we will be recording there.
Thus is the point of the video in the first place.
But yeah, if you're in the Chicago area, I'm not sure the exact dates for how long the exhibit will be there, but it should be there, you know, quite a while. So if you're going to be in the Chicago area, I would definitely encourage you to check that out because it should be some pretty awesome models there. And you might have noticed as well, both Matthew and I have our Creations for Charity 24-hour live stream shirts on. So these were made for our annual Creations for Charity live stream that we do every Thanksgiving. So these were from last year's live stream. Figured it was appropriate since we were live building another set here.
Word. These were lovingly designed by Mr. Kevin Hinkle himself.
That's right.
So Kevin, if and when you're watching this, you rock, man. Keep it on.
So the impression, definitely right off the bat with this set, as you can see with the pieces in front of me, is like gray. So it's like 90% gray pieces. If you're looking for 1x2s in gray or some cheese slope type gray pieces, you know, this is the set to get.
I'm trying to use my knife to keep the pages open. It's kind of working out.
That's not a bad idea. It definitely is, as nice as it is to look at and hold, there's something to be said for being able to actually lay the instructions out without holding them with one hand.
Yeah, I will say this is like, I was initially very happy to see what an amazing binding job there. But yeah, kind of right there with you. Not very great at all. Pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the little tidbits of information, like every other like architecture set. So this on page 29, step 11, it says the interior is inspired by local culture, while staying mindful of the building's status as a global icon. While staying mindful of the building's status as a global icon in residence, the design features glass, stainless steel, and polished dark stones, together with silver travertine flooring, Venetian stucco walls, handmade rugs, and stone flooring.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
these are very educational builds to work on. You know, there's the normal kind of educational benefits of building with Lego, and then you have the architecture sets, which really kick it up a notch.
It is immense the amount of information there that they kind of include.
This is always one of my favorite parts of the architecture sets is the printed brick that says the name of the set. So it says Burj Khalifa there, if you can see that.
It's just, since the very first one, they've done that. So initial impressions there. What do you think? Yeah.
You know, pretty solid base here. That's all I've gotten to so far, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Lots of tan tiles. I guess that's like the desert or something.
Yeah.
Accurate.
So for any of our live viewers, we have a few live viewers joining us. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Feel free to give any of your impressions if you've built this set in the past, Burj Khalifa, or anyone's been to the actual building in Dubai. How you think it compares to that as well. Love to hear from you.
Are there any burning questions that you have for us right now?
Yes, feel free to ask any questions about the set, or really anything in general.
We would happy to be talking about the weather. We could talk about sports, or probably not.
limited knowledge of sports. The weather has been amazing here. I don't know about where you are, Matthew, but here the last couple of days have been incredible.
It has been pretty ridiculous lately. Yeah, just like one nice day after another. And I understand like the Gulf states are sort of having some rainy weather, but it's like there's a high pressure area sitting over the East Coast and like a little bit of the Midwest, sort of blocking all that moisture from coming this way. So good times. I did watch a forecast last night. Are we getting any interaction there in the live chat, Joshua?
Let's check it out.
Anyone telling me to stop talking about the weather?
Here's a couple questions. So, are there any LEGO conventions in Las Vegas? Now, that's an interesting question because I believe, Matthew, and you can help me out with this, there was one at one point, right? Wasn't there some kind of show? Maybe it was just a lug that I'm thinking with like Keith Goldman. Maybe that was just like a lug in that area.
Keith Goldman lives there, and Keith Goldman is like the best Lego builder ever, obviously. Look him up.
Obviously.
But maybe there was a show at some point. I can't think of anything there. No. The closest show you probably have would be in Los Angeles at Bricks LA or something like that.
Okay, yeah, probably. So I think I was just probably thinking of one of maybe a lug or something that was there at some point. But yeah, unfortunately, there is not one there. I would think it would do well. Maybe you can help organize that if you're interested in seeing a show there.
I'm sure the casino crowd would gladly patronize a Lego convention. I would gladly go to a Lego convention in Las Vegas. Actually, that would be. There's probably a ton of hotel capacity there, right?
I would think so. They got to put all those people somewhere.
So if someone's out there wondering where to take a Lego show, Las Vegas, man.
That's right. And we do have some more comments here. Let's see some interesting fun facts about the Burj Khalifa real life building. It is the tallest freestanding structure in the world and is not a tower because it is not hollow in the middle. So thanks to John Deli for sharing that information with us. So there's got some trivia for you there.
Facts, just facts. Okay, well, I think it's we can officially say that this instruction booklet is kind of no fun.
You got your knife holding it down there?
And it still is kind of hard to read because the knife's kind of blocking out a little. It's just kind of...
I'm just going for the one-hand hold here while I use my other hand. That seems to be the best.
Yeah. As the pages get to be too numerous, I'm sure I will. Tisk, tisk.
So let's see. Another question: are the colors in the set similar to the real thing? I don't think either of us have ever been to the real building, but based on the photos, they seem decently similar to what the real building looks like.
One gripe is that the building, being a skyscraper with a glass curtain wall, is kind of translucent-ish, but the skyscraper, this is in fact kind of gray. So,
right, that is true.
Solid gray. And, I mean, Lego, you know, you're making parts. Why couldn't they have just made, like, the whole thing trans some color? Maybe that would have looked really bad? Probably would have looked really bad. I guess the mass is more important than the color or something like that.
I'm sure there were some debates among the designers as they worked on this set on how to best, you know, get the shape of the building and everything while still making the colors look realistic.
If you write,
I imagine compromises were made somewhere along the way.
Certainly. If you write for blocks, Brick Journal, Bricks, HISPA Bricks, Rail Bricks, any magazine, great idea for a feature right here. Talk about the design process behind this Burj Khalifa. Just watch this episode. We'll have at least 30 to 40 questions, criticism, comments that we would like you to address. And preferably a 10-page spread. What do you think, Josh?
I'd say 12 to 14 pages.
12 to 14 pages about the backstory of the set, what the design process looked like, various iterations, and all that kind of stuff. Just an idea.
I think that should cover it.
Just an idea.
Getting into like some of the Technic elements here to build this up. So you see the kind of 3-bar Technic elements with the tower structure going.
Yep.
Hmm. You might pick up the faint sound of some train whistles, as usual, brought to you by the train, you know, down the street from me in Indiana.
Josh lives in Aurelia.
It'd be great if we did a train build one of these times, and then it'd actually fit in rather nicely.
Just have this really accurate soundtrack for the background. Okay, moving along.
You got the base and the first part of the tower pretty much done there?
Yep. Ah, I like the way it's coming together already. It's a very satisfying kind of initial steps. That is really cool. This is like several light years better than the previous iteration of this.
I don't think I built the last version. Did you actually build it, or have you?
Get in the store a couple of times and laugh every time.
Okay.
It was just a series of stacked, like 1x1 round bricks or something like that, wasn't it?
It wasn't great. Yeah, I remember it was not great.
Not the greatest thing ever, if I must say. I feel like I'm just like endless pit of negativity here for some reason. I apologize. don't know what's gotten into me.
Yeah, it's good to get your honest opinion. Here's another question from the comments. Do you think this model of the Burj Khalifa could be used to make a bigger version of it as a scale model? So basically, if I'm understanding the question, could you take like several of these and make like a bigger model of it? And I don't know, we haven't finished it yet, but I feel like based on the pieces that are here, you could. If you had several of these, you could make just a scaled up version of it.
I think the way that this is built is very easy to kind of just scale up by a factor of like 5 or 6 or whatever. So maybe buy one of these and then go to Bricklink or go to the Pick a Brick Wall and buy like a ton of elements to sort of scale it up if that's what you're looking to do. But yeah, I think this general design seems pretty scalable. Scalable. Very clean base, I must say. I really like the way it's.
It is, yeah.
I approve of the gray, the decision to use gray. I think that was a good call, man. Looks good. Josh, is there anyone out there that would be worthy of bringing into the Hangout to talk with on a one-on-one basis right now?
I don't know right now, but that does remind me. So I was going to mention that Lego also sent us the 3 kind of Lego the Skyline architecture sets. So is it Venice, Berlin, and New York? So if you guys have seen those, we'll probably do something with those in the future, and we might have maybe some more Lego architecture experts from the Lego community join us. So keep an eye out for that sometime in the future. We're hoping to do something with some of those.
Definitely. I do think it's kind of interesting that the little 3-prong Technic axle kind of adapter piece, when you put the Technic 1x2s, it's like they don't really meet perfectly in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yes, I see what you're saying. They don't.
A little weird. A little weird. Did you see that technique that was posted on Flickr? Might have been yesterday, but someone figured out that if you put a wow, it's so new. I can't even really. It's like a Travis brick, and then you put those profile bricks, like 1x2 profile bricks, radiating out around the Travis brick. That the slot between the little slot on the back side of the profile brick, where it's just the line running down the middle of the brick. When you put 2 of those facing each other on the Travis brick, it can hold like a 1x2 plate or tile in the plates.
Okay.
Makes no sense, right?
I have a vague idea of what you're saying, but yeah, I think if I saw it, it would make a lot more sense.
Just crazy techniques. That's all you need to know.
That's what's great about Flickr. All sorts of cool stuff like that on there.
I always think it's amazing when they discover a technique, and it's like, I really wonder if the person that even designed the part knew that that was possible when they designed it, And it's like, if they do, then are they laughing because someone finally figured it out? Or are they as shocked as the person that figured it out? Like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. Right?
Right. I imagine there's situations like that where designers look at it and are like, oh, well, I never thought of that. Just because they probably have they have a fairly specific use in mind when they get a piece, probably. So I imagine there are some weird combinations they don't think up when they first come up with a piece.
Serendipity. Well, I think I've gotten to page 45, and I can no longer hold it open. I'll just ruin the instruction booklet, I suppose, in order to make sure it remains closed. Probably the most rigid instruction booklet I've ever encountered.
Have you had to use the piece separator yet? I haven't picked mine up yet, but I could be by the end.
Yeah, usually it ends up coming in handy at least once. But then I always say to myself, I could just use one of the other 41s I have. It's interesting. Brick separators used to be so like I don't know, rare or something back when they only had like the green one and the old design.
Right, yeah. You know, like the '90s era, where it's just those were like a precious commodity.
From like 2007 or whatever to like 2015 or 2014 maybe, I had like 3 brick separators that I really coveted, and now I have like 16 that I like just stare at and wonder why I keep them. To those watching live, how do you feel about your brick separators? You have a lot?
I have quite a few, yes. I just kind of stick them. Usually when it's in a set, I'll stick them with like some extra pieces or something, and there's always one around if I need it. So let's see. TC Compact just commented and said he's been to the building 2 times. It is really nothing special, just very tall. It has a sterile exterior and is very over the top inside. So
sounds like Dubai.
Right, yeah. They kind of went for like the decorations overkill on the inside and not so much on the outside.
Oh. It's a really funny build so far. It's just like a cylinder, you know?
Yeah, here's what I've got so far. So I think you're a few steps ahead of me, but you guys can kind of see the base here. It's kind of the very beginnings of it.
Yep.
The whole holding the book with one hand while building with the other, I think, slows me down a bit.
Well, you should have absolutely decimated your instruction booklet and used a knife to hold it in place. Next time.
Yeah. Actually, I have a knife here. Let's see if this works. Maybe I'll try this. I have a feeling my knife is too small. Yep, I don't think that's going to work.
Oh.
Page, let's see, I'm on step 16 here, and here's one of these kind of facts they add in. Here's a photo of it being built. Over 26,000 glass panels were used in the exterior cladding of Burj Khalifa. Over 300 cladding specialists from China were brought in for the cladding work on the tower. So that gives you an idea of the incredible scale of this building in real life. Hey, we have a comment about your Chinese Lego banner there in the back. They say they like it.
They say, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. It is definitely not a official Lego product, and it was sourced from an eBay seller located in Hong Kong. No comments. No comments.
Isn't all the best stuff sourced from eBay sellers in Hong Kong?
All the best unlicensed stuff is sourced from eBay sellers. I felt a little bit dubious purchasing it, but it arrived and I unfolded it, and I was like, pretty cool. I should just start saying you can only get it at the Lego employee store.
Yeah. Make it sound super exclusive.
I've always wanted one of those like retail display kind of things.
That would be cool. You could just pull a Dan Brown from the unofficial Lego museum and just kind of take the back routes to getting in.
Yeah. Just check something.
Let's see. Here's any of you guys going to Philly Brickfest 2016? I don't think Matthew and I are planning to right now, so we don't have any immediate plans, but we might see in the future. I think that show is in April. I want to say.
Yeah. Unfortunately, college classes are kind of a complicating factor when it comes to like going to Lego conventions. So.
That's very true. College will really mess with your Lego convention plans.
Who asked that? Was it?
That is pumpkin bricks.
Interesting. We're sorry. Calling the person. It looks like a pretty decent show. I saw Chad in Toy Fair in New York.
Okay, yeah.
He asked if we're coming, and I said the same thing that we just said now. College classes. It's kind of like inconvenient to drive there and inconvenient to fly a little bit, you know?
Right, yeah. It's just tough to get there.
Swing. Tisk, tisk. Well, Josh, if you think you're just going to be stacking blade bricks and making like a triangular tower, you will be doing just that as you keep going.
Yeah, probably not the most interesting build ever here. You're kind of just stacking the same bricks again and again.
Now that I'm having to hold the instruction booklet, it's getting a little bit more.
Get the elbows involved there?
Yep. Very physical building problem. And then it like shuts on me, so I have to hold it open. Fun times.
Oh, Joseph Zawada, thanks for joining us, watching us live. So yeah, it was great to meet you last year at Brick Fair, Virginia. He's wondering if we'll be back this year, and I think we. So that will be really great to be back there. So yeah, if you're going to be there again, Joseph, look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, you might have seen his big castle build that was very popular there.
Such an awesome build. Well, there's so much belay and the instruction booklet just keeps closing on me. I think I missed putting down a row of bricks.
Oh boy, that's never good.
So I get to take the hard a little bit. Figure out what we've done.
I like in the instruction booklet here, you guys can see there, they kind of do top-down views. You can see on these pages, which is kind of helpful. It's nice to do the top-down view on a build like this. It shows you where to place the bricks. Figure out the problem there, Matthew?
Yep. Tisk tisk. It's a little bit unstable in certain states. But once you get it to a certain point, it's just kind of flimsy.
Yeah, definitely gets pretty repetitive here.
Aren't those, what are they called? Cookbook stands? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah, so you could use one of those for your, like you're, working on a lasagna there or something.
Yeah, it's like I need like a. I don't know if I have anything nearby that would be
You
appropriate.
like a music stand or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I have this. That was really helpful. Ugh.
What is that?
It's like a $5 iPhone mount.
Let's see how this works.
Probably not very well, or at all. I don't think this is going anywhere. But let's just play this out for a minute. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. I don't think that's really any better, but
Hey, it's something.
that's innovation, actually. Look at that.
There you go.
That setup. Oh, fantastic. I never thought that would become useful for that.
Feel free if you're watching us live here, leave in the comments. Do you have any solutions to instruction book issues like that? Because I know I've had this issue in the past. It's not just this one set. There's definitely other sets where the instructions will do this to you, where you basically have to hold them the entire time. So, if you've kind of found a solution that works well for you, feel free to share it. Maybe others can take a hint from you.
It's really when it's like got this ridiculous bounding. Binding, not bounding. Same thing. All right. Yeah, it's almost like distracting. You have to hold it down,
Right.
The whole process of just holding it down is like labor intensive enough or mentally frustrating enough to like just kind of fluster me. I just sound like a really lazy.
It's like, oh, I have to hold my instructions? Well, that's enough of that.
Literally the worst thing ever. I can't deal with this. This is fantastic. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of like it's going to be very relieving to just cover the side with plates and then
Right, yeah. There's
whenever that happens, either in like a mock or like this is just such a satisfying sort of indescribably wonderful feeling. Just the job.
Some people said they place the box across the. Joseph said he places the box across the top, so you can just kind of set your box on top of the instructions.
Like this
Which I think works better with bigger instruction booklets. This is a fairly small instruction booklet, so it's a little harder to do that with.
Like this clamp is holding it in really nicely, but the knife, which weighs like about the same as this is like a really heavy. I don't know. Good idea though. I like that. You've been to the top of the Sears Tower, Josh, right?
I have been, yes.
What'd you think of?
It's been a while though, so I don't remember a lot of it, but it's been quite a few years.
It's like really, really cool, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't feel real, you know. Like I feel like maybe the Empire State or somewhere where you'd be able to get outside and like feel the wind.
Right. Yeah.
It
That
just
was kind of like when I was in Toronto for BrickFest last year. I went up the CN Tower there in Toronto, and yeah, it's one of those things where it's cool, but like it gets like pretty crowded and stuff, and so it's not quite. And there is one option, like one package you can go up and like go outside on it, but I didn't do that. But yeah, so there's definitely. And they'll have like the little window where, at least in the CN Tower, it has kind of like the glass floor portion of it, which is nice, except it was like covered in people, and so that doesn't work out so well. But you could see down at least a little bit.
you and like 10,000 of your closest friends. Yeah, lots of 1x2 bricks of different types and 1x2 plates of various types here in this construction.
Here's another fun fact in the instructions. The opening ceremony of Burj Khalifa featured a display of 10,000 fireworks.
I think
That's pretty big.
Yeah. Step 35, 34?
Yep, 34.
Okay.
Here's somebody just left a question in the chat box. Anything you are looking forward to in 2016? So I'm assuming they're talking about mostly Lego related things. But are there any big sets you're looking forward to, Matthew? Anything coming out? Maybe events, things like that?
I think if we could do the big three Lego conventions once again, the Virginia, Chicago, Seattle, that was like the most amazing thing just ever. Just to be able to do all those and all three of those and how different that's just the best thing in the world. I thought that was like amazing. So maybe we could duplicate that experience. That would be absolutely fantastic.
Right, that was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to Chicago this year, but I know you and John will be there, so yeah, hopefully.
Yes, we will.
So that should be neat at least. But yeah, I'll miss out on that. But yeah, do it. Last year, hitting all three of the big three Lego conventions was really cool.
Actually, maybe you could. I could say this too. Maybe even. Like a European Lego event. That would be like a goal or some kind of amazing thing for 2016. If we could go to Finland or go to Brick in London, something European this year, just to leave the country for Lego, that would be very fun.
That's right. So yeah, and I have planning right now to go to my first European event. So the reason I won't be in Chicago is because I'll be in Portugal at the Portugal Lego Fan Weekend this year. So if you're going to be there, keep an eye out. That should be pretty cool. So that'll be my first event, first European event. Unfortunately, Matthew is not going to be able to make it there, but he hopefully can make it to Chicago, like we were saying. So he'll be covering that.
Hopefully, we'll see. Who knows? stacking is coming to an end very shortly.
Somewhat, yeah. It's coming along nicely here, so you can see. Here's what I've got done of the tower. A lot of studs sticking out right now that I think we will be attaching pieces and tiles to shortly.
Aren't they building a tower bigger than the Burj Khalifa?
I'm sure I would guess, if I had to guess, they are, because I think there's always people trying to set, new records for that type of thing. So I would imagine they're trying to.
Isn't it like in Mecca or in like Saudi Arabia or something? I've not consulted the fact book recently. It is too hard to keep up with because I feel like there's either something announced or something breaks ground. Like every day.
Yeah, so kind of moving on to a new stage here, at least in the building, and not just the stacking.
Any more comments, questions, criticisms, concerns?
Let's see. Joseph asked, so this is a non-Lego related question, but I think we can handle answering this one. So for those of you who we've talked to at conventions like Joseph, you might know that where Matthew and I are both in college right now, as we mentioned earlier, which inhibits our convention going. But Joseph is wondering what we're both studying in college. So Matthew, you want to let him know what you're working on?
Computer information systems. So
there you go.
Very, very fun. And Joshua?
And I am working on a history major, which is actually some part of the reason why I won't be at Brickworld Chicago this year, because I'll be going over to Israel for a few weeks for a archaeology dig for my college history work. So on my way over there, the week before is actually the Portugal fan weekend, so I'm going to go there and then head over to Israel.
Sounds rough.
It probably will be. I hear the heat is pretty bad over there. Let's hope they don't work me too hard.
Tisk. Definitely a little bit more different is maybe the word I'm looking for than a Lego convention.
Just slightly, the whole thing being outside, that's one difference.
Ugh. All right, now I'm just gonna try to hold it like a novel and build it.
You're do like a dramatic reading of the book as you.
Reading of the. I want to try the box technique.
See, this box is too light as well. You need like a bigger instruction booklet and a lot bigger, heavier box.
Not happening in the slides. I like the idea. Note to self: bring a brick inside for the next.
Let me go out to my garden real quick before we start this live build.
Yeah, I don't even have like a book nearby that's like. Okay, here is a paperback edition of Gone with the Wind. Let's see if it can hold.
Well, that's something. The problem is you're covering up the top half.
You can barely. All right, it can barely hold it.
I kind of like that idea now. I feel like I should grab some giant book.
Okay. Paperback edition of Gone with the Wind.
I don't think I have that. Here's a random book I happen to have nearby. Don't even know what it's about. This book is called Freedom at Midnight. And I think so you can tell I'm a history major here with this random history book I have sitting nearby. I think what this is something to do. Yeah, it's India. That's what it is. So it's like a history of, at least partial history of India. So, that seems to be serving me very well, holding this instruction booklet. I think that works pretty nicely.
The best thing it's ever done for you.
At least until I need to know more about the history of India and I read it at some point.
Maybe. Yeah, I bet you a Kindle reader couldn't hold a architecture book down like this.
That's right. You gotta get, unabridged version of War and Peace or something like that.
I'm trying to see do I have any Lego architecture?
Get your Lego architecture book to hold your Lego architecture instructions down.
I don't know if I have one. I guess I don't have that one DK published, wasn't it? I'd say this is actually a pretty spiffy model, honestly.
Yeah, it's been coming together more here.
Solid. What's the price point on this? Is it $44.99 USD?
It's either 40 or 44.
Pretty reasonable. A little high for I guess it's kind of an IP set. Probably have to pay a licensing fee, right?
Yeah, probably. So these architecture sets tend to be a little on the high side. For one thing, I think they're going for like an older audience somewhat with them that can afford to pay it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it becomes much more impressive here as you put more of the set together.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, another question from the chat here. Jedi Koala asks, do you have a favorite set or a favorite theme? So I'm trying to think. Creator, yeah, Matthew's a big Creator fan. My generally go to, again, kind of coming back to the history side, is like the Western theme I've always thought was pretty cool. The different variations of it, like the Lone Ranger sets were pretty cool. Then like the older like 90s era Western theme. So all that stuff is pretty awesome. As far as the theme, that's probably about my favorite. And then actually one of my favorite sets as well would be the Fort Legorado from the Western theme.
Oh, Gretchen. My favorite set of all time? I don't know. Probably like one of those Creator House sets. I always thought they were the coolest thing. Like the Apple Tree House, was it? I thought was a pretty solid set. Something around there. Kind of sound like a girl, but I don't really care. But those houses are cool.
We don't judge here. Those Creator houses are pretty cool. They've made like a lot of different versions over the years as well. So there's some really cool variations on them that they've released.
Let's see.
Yeah, I should have done this book thing holding the instructions earlier. This is definitely easier.
Yeah, I suppose this proves that we're idiots.
I think we've come to the conclusion that this is the best solution, at least for these type of architecture instructions.
Yeah. A problem I've never had to solve before. Who said they had been to this tower earlier?
I'm trying to remember now. That comment was a while ago. I don't remember who said that, but someone mentioned in the comments that they had been to the tower in real life.
Interesting. Yeah, it really does. I feel like it wouldn't just be like really big, and then beyond that, well, there's not much else going on, right?
Right, yeah. But it sounds like the inside is where it's at, so just seeing it from the outside is kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Empire, dude, I guess big towers, there's not really much appeal beyond height, right?
Right, yeah, for most of them. I mean, there are some buildings that are certainly, you could say, are more interesting to look at than others, but a lot of tall buildings, yeah, just, well, you can get super high up in the air.
Yep. Wasn't this Burj Khalifa designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill?
It very well could have been. Let's see, does it say that? It probably says about their history here at the beginning. It says Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill joined forces with Dubai-based developers to redefine what was possible as super tall buildings.
There you go. Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, if I'm not mistaken, are also the ones behind both the Hancock Tower and the Sears Tower.
Well, there you go. So, lots of interesting designs coming out from these people.
Definitely.
Yeah, the more pieces you add on the outside of this, it definitely becomes much more appealing.
Yeah. As you get to the top, it sort of has a lot of these 1x2 cheese plates sort of hanging off of it. It's a little weird. They kind of float around a little too much. Once you get them all locked in, it's like they're pretty rigid. Interesting.
Let's So yeah, cheese slopes galore in this set. Varying lengths, whatever you could want. That's what you're looking for. This is like a good parts pack set. So let's see. Jedi asks, any thoughts on the new Star Wars Lego game? So I have not tried the new Star Wars Lego game, so I can't say I have any particular thoughts on it. But judging by past Lego games, the ones they made in the past are generally of a pretty high quality, so I would think it'd be pretty decent.
I feel the exact same way, surprisingly.
Yep, getting these. I'm just finishing up the cheese slopes on the outside of the building here. So I think you're a few. I'm on step 46. Where are you, Matthew?
Oh, yeah, step 46. I'm on page 89. I don't know what about step.
Okay. Yeah, you're a few pages ahead of me.
Oh, I've been forcing you to, not forcing, but you've been handling the comment section, so it's, I would probably be much further behind if I was.
There we go.
And now I need to sneeze just a little bit, so I'm just going to intently stare at the instruction booklet, pretend that I'm not going to sneeze.
Try to stare down the sneeze.
Stare down that sneeze. That sneeze is not coming from me. Ugh.
So have you read that massive paperback version of Gone with the Wind there?
I think I started it a while ago. Well, a while ago, I mean like 8 years ago. I kind of watched the movie and sort of fell out of interest in the whole sort of narrative.
I know how it ends.
Yep. I don't know what. I don't know how. I was probably less than 15 years old when I acquired that. Not sure what possessed me to. What have I got with the wind? Unusual. Really unusual. Margaret Mitchell. What's the weirdest book you've ever read, Josh?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know.
That's not an answer.
A lot of weird books. One that I actually didn't end up finishing because it was very weird and just wasn't my style was Catch-22. I don't know if you've ever read that.
Oh,
Like World War II bomber guy.
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Is it Joseph? What's his name?
Yeah. What is his name? Joseph somebody. Someone in the comments could probably remind us what the name of the author is. That book was just very much not my style of reading, and I think I got like a quarter of the way through it and gave up.
Yeah. I tried to get into Steinbeck a lot when I was in middle school, and it never really worked out. I think it's because I was in middle school.
maybe getting going a bit too early of an age for that.
Yeah. What's that guy on YouTube who like reads a book a day, but he's like a complete fraud? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, Ty Lopez. You've heard of that guy.
Yeah, I have. Okay, is that... Yeah.
My name's Ty Lopez. I read a book a day. And, he has like a Lamborghini in his garage, but he just has a bunch of books.
Okay, right, yeah.
They said he bought 60 million views on YouTube, some crazy, like, and no one knows what he does, but he's just like really rich or not. I don't even know. That's my favorite, like, I read a book a day. Reading books sets you free. I always think about that. Goofy guy. And then you put the spire on and you're done, and then they show you a picture of what the actual building looks like, and that's about it.
Well, there you go. I've got a few steps left here. So what is your, initial thoughts as you finished it up there?
It's impressive because, like, it's not that tall, but then you put on this last little bit, and then it becomes, like, a very nice size. And it's pretty rigid, pretty stable, but it's just a very nice sort of size. Tall. Sort of interesting, the artistic kind of liberties, I guess they took, or whatever you want to call it. Becomes, like, interesting, kind of blocky. And it's like sort of really bad looking when you like bring it close to your face or whatever, your eye, but then the further it gets away from you, your mind kind of pieces it together the way it should be. And it like smooths out the edges and stuff, and it looks really good. So I would say 9 out of 10. Solid.
There you go.
Solid build. literally a solid building and a solid building. This is one of the better books I've ever read. Fortunately, my bookshelf is right next to this table. It's by John Nadia. It's called The Laws of Simplicity, Design, Technology, Business, Life. And he just sort of ruminates on simplicity over the course of how many pages there are on this book. Exactly 100. I thought that was pretty good.
Exactly 100.
And then the last page is not counted as part of the 100, and it's got like the whole book in bullet form. Very simple. But this is by, I think it's MIT University Press. I got this when I was like 14, I think. I can't remember what it was. I just remember, I was trying to reread it frequently. 2006 is when it was published, so I think I got it in 2008 or so. I don't know what that was. I'm a sucker for those kind of books. Is the comment section reacting to our discussions about books?
What's that?
Are they reacting to the discussions about books?
Let's see. Not too much. I guess I don't see a lot of
That's good.
Yeah. When you mentioned that book there that you were just talking about, it reminded me, I have this class starting up called Artifacts and Exhibits, and it's basically like, it's a museum class, and so it's kind of, one of the textbooks for it is basically like what goes into making like a good museum exhibit, like the different things surrounding, what makes a cool museum exhibit.
It's kind of good, huh? So are you going to be like, you're going to go to Dan Brown's 20 Plastic Brick Museum after you're done? And just say no.
What I can do for him?
I want you to redo everything. Yeah, I want an internship.
I cannot get this one tile to attach here for some reason. It's weird. It's like, it's not aligning with the stud properly to, oh, I think what the problem is, I might have like an, I think I need to add a plate underneath that issue.
I built the loop set shortly after our 24-hour live stream.
That's cool. Yeah, I built that. I think I built part of it on the 24-hour live stream, and then I think I finished it. Finished it later. What do you think of it?
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. It's kind of weird how like blank and empty the backside is. I guess it's like every Lego architecture set sort of has a front, if that makes sense. But typically they're kind of able to be viewed from like a lot of angles and still look pretty decent. But this one was like, oh my god, really not great from the backside. It's just literally empty, you know?
Right, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, it is kind of bland from the back there.
I guess there's like no good way to like, I mean, this is probably the best way to handle the whole thing, but just a little weird. Feels like something I would have done.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well,
Yeah.
What do we do at the back? Well, I don't know. Just make it blank.
Nobody will see it at a convention. They only see the front. Whatever.
Exactly. What are you gonna do?
So Joseph Zawada got in on the book discussion here and asked, "Have you ever read Freakonomics?" Which I have not. It's been recommended to me before that I should read it, but I haven't read it. How about you, Matthew?
I have not read it. I do read the blog. I do follow the author, and I feel like I may as well have read it because of stuff I've read about it. So, and I believe that the author of that book, his name is escaping me right now, attended Appalachian State University.
Okay, there you go.
I want to say, which is the school in the mountains of Western North Carolina that I so proudly attend myself.
Okay, I think I finally got it finished up here. So here's my finished tower. I feel like I have one or two extra pieces that shouldn't be extra pieces, but it seems to come together decent enough.
What are your extra pieces?
I've got one of these.
What is that?
Hinge piece.
Well, that's not extra, Josh.
Right, that's what I thought. I'm pretty sure that should have gone in here somewhere.
You made it more efficient.
Yeah, it seems to be okay. I don't know. It's probably like very structurally unsound now. If there's an earthquake or something, it might topple.
I've just folded my box up pretty brutally there.
Whoa. Okay. So are you a box saver typically or not?
I actually am a box saver, and I have like at least 7 or 8 of these boxes just lying around with the sets inside or whatever. But it's getting too ridiculous to just keep a mountain of like Lego architecture sets with the box saved. So in honor of this, I'm going to get rid of I think most of my boxes. What's the point? Are you a box saver?
Generally, yeah. Yeah, I generally save the boxes and the instructions as much as possible. So I won't ruin them like that, but I will at least flatten them down, and so that I can kind of flatten them and store them a lot easier that way.
Well, now I feel a little bit self-conscious about what I just did, but whatever.
It's done.
All right, it's done.
What else is done is our build here. So yeah, I think it definitely, the beginning steps are, I think, the worst part of the build for sure. It's very repetitive and not good to look at. But then once you start adding on the outside, it gets a lot more interesting. It's not as boring putting the parts together, and makes the building look a lot nicer. So it comes together pretty well in the end.
Definitely.
Overall, enjoyable build.
What do you think, Josh? Can we give it a out of 10? What's your star count?
For a Lego architecture set, I'd give this a 8 out of 10.
And I give it a 9 out of 10. So maybe we can go in the middle. Mathematically incorrect average of 8.5 out of 10. That's our review.
There you go. That's what we think of it. So, you know, if that's high enough for you to go out and get it, I'd encourage you to. So we thank everyone who watched the live stream here, kind of commented back and forth with us. We appreciate, you know, your interaction as always. It's always nice to have you guys join us live. And that finishes Burj Khalifa for us. As I mentioned, Lego has sent us several sets that I think we'll be doing some live builds with over the next few months. So keep an eye out for that. We should have some more coming your way soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.